Hey guys, welcome to Code Decode. In this mock interview series, today we have Yash with us. He's currently in fourth year, so let's get started with his mock. Also, if you guys want to be a part of this mock interview series, please add your details in the form given in the description below. Let's get started. Hey guys, today we have Yash with us for the mock interview for freshers. How are you, Yash?
I'm good, ma'am. I'm doing great.
Awesome. So glad to hear that. Are you ready for the mock? Can we start?
Yes, ma'am. We can start.
Great. So let's quickly start with. So this is going to be a Code Java mock interview for freshers. So I'm going to focus more on the Code Java part for you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So
Okay.
firstly, why Java? Why not other languages? Will be my first question.
Ma'am, because yeah, Java is basically object oriented and mostly it is used in finance applications and all. And all the legacy systems were mostly written in Java as it was developed in like around 1980s, 1990s. And also the scope for development with Java is great. We have many different libraries available, and the developer community is also great. Frameworks are available like Spring Boot for a web application and microservices, and for Android development also we can use Java. Means they have now replaced it with Kotlin as the official language, but we can still use Java. It is Kotlin is mostly based on Java, so it's.
Understood. Also for banking, you said something for banking. So because it is multi-threaded and it is also safe, that is why you said that, right?
Yeah. Frameworks like Spring and Spring Boot provide like libraries and jar file out of the box for security and database connectivity and all. So most of the boilerplate code get reduced, and it becomes easy for us to develop industry grade applications using means very little resources.
Understood. Nice. Okay. The next is why Java is not pure object-oriented language.
So basically, in Java, we have primitive data types like int, char, float, and double, which are not represented as object. So means there is a workaround this. So we have wrapper class, which basically are used to convert the primitive data types into objects. And whenever we required to give parameters to like as template arguments or like to a collection framework, we use this wrapper class rather than the primitive data type as we are objectifying them. So
Nice.
basically it is around 99% object oriented. The 1% is due to primitive data types like intent and char.
Understood. So you also gave an answer to why do we really need wrappers, because for many of the collections won't work with your primitives. Nice.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so the next question I would ask is that what is the difference between JDK, JRE and JVM?
So basically, JDK is Java Development Toolkit. Uh, it encompasses JRE, which is a runtime, which we require to run Java applications along with debugger and compiler. And inside JRE, we have JVM, which runs the bytecode, and it also has other libraries that support it to run a JVM to run the compiled code.
Okay. So if I say that I have a laptop with me and I need to code a hello world.java. So what
Yeah.
do I need on my system? What should I install? JVM, JRE or JDK?
So you need a JDK because we need to first compile the Java file to class file, and then that class file would be then changed into bytecode, which is machine understandable, and then it would be able to run on our platform.
Okay. I'll quickly share my screen once and we'll see the process, because I am a bit confused on how your .java, .class and .exe gets converted. So I'll quickly
Oh,
share my screen. Let me know if it is visible. Is it visible?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you said that we have a, say, hello world.java. Okay. Your hello.java.
Yes.
Then you said that you will have something like hello.class.
Yes, yes.
And then you said that we can have a hello.exe or machine executable. For Windows, it is exe. So it's
Yes,
machine executable, right?
yes.
Okay. Now, with JDK, you will create this hello.java. Then you will compile it into the hello.class. Then
Yes,
it will be converted to exe, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. And you said that there is a whole lot of JDK which has JRE, right?
Yes, which has JRE. Yep.
Okay. So if I depict your solution in this way, we have JDK, then we have JRE, then we have JVM, right?
Yes.
So this yellow one is your JDK, this pink one is your JRE, and this green one is your JVM. So where does JIT lies and what is JIT?
So basically, JIT is a just-in-time compiler. Java is an interpreted language, so it compiles the code line by line. But
Okay.
due to this, the performance is low. Basically, means it will take less time to process that file. So, in order to speed up this process, we need JIT. Basically, it takes a block of code and then converts it into the executable file fast.
Understood. So this is basically to increase the performance and speed of your interpreted language, which is Java. Understood. Nice.
Yes,
So
yes,
JIT would lie in the JVM JRE, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Understood. I'll transition back. So this is nice. We understand that you have a good knowledge on JVM, JTK, JRE, and this is how the flow goes. So you also said that if I am the one who is coding on my system and I want to create a .java file, I need JDK. It will have all the tools and toolkits for creating a .java class and compile it to .class, which is bytecode. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
bytecode is then interpreted and JIT compiled by JIT compiler to convert it into the machine executables, which is
Yes, ma'am.
understandable by machine, which is basically 0101, the machine language.
Yes,
Understand.
ma'am.
Now,
That is correct.
if I have created a hello.java and I have compiled it to hello.class, now I
Yes,
can give this hello.class to my friend who doesn't know Java at all, but he wants to see the output. So he just want to run my .class file and see the
yes.
output. So can he do that? And if he can do that, what will he need on his system? Does he need JDK or only JRE will suffice for this?
Basically, he needs to run the file. So I think JRE will be sufficient.
Very nice. I'll transition back again quickly. So here you have created this .java, right? Now if you
Yes.
have .java and you have compiled it to bytecodes, now this is a bytecode here, right? So this
Yes.
task is done by JDK for you. Now only
Yes.
for running this .class file to machine executable, you only would need JRE because you just
JRE.
need to run it. So only runtime environment is required. And since
Yes.
runtime environment or JRE contains JVM and JIT both, it will be able to easily convert this to exe with a good performance because JIT increases the performance, right? So that is
Yes.
why
Yes.
only GRE will suffice. Nice. Okay. So I'm okay with that. Now, can you explain something about the OOPS concepts?
So basically, object-oriented programming aims to model real-world entities into programming concepts.
Okay.
So, so basically, if we have a animal as a real object, so to represent it in object-oriented language like Java, we use a class, and to define its attributes like how many legs it has, the color of eyes, the number of eyes, we can have variables or parameter variables like means for number of eyes, number of legs, etc. And to define what those variables are doing, means to define the behavior of the animal, we can have methods. So a cat like animal likes to eat food or to sleep, we can have different methods to define its behavior.
Okay. And what are the common OOPS concepts? What are the pillars of OOPS?
So basically, there are four pillars of OOPS: abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So would you like me to explain that further? Or?
Yes. If you can explain those four in short, it will be great.
So abstraction means representing only the hiding the implementation details and representing only the interface to the user. Like suppose for a banking system, we hide how the transactions are taking place in the background. We just show the interface to the user, like if you want to credit some money, enter the amount and the money will get credited into your account, like that.
Okay.
So encapsulation is wrapping up of data and methods into a single unit. In this case, a class. It is like a capsule. Means class is like a capsule which holds data members and methods. Third concept is inheritance. Inheritance is the property by which a base class acquires the property of derived class acquires the property of a base class. So suppose we have an animal, so it has some attributes, and we have a dog, which is a type of animal. So basically, dog inherits some properties of animal. So this is a relationship. Basically, dog is a animal. And in polymorphism, poly means many and morphism means forms. Basically, in polymorphism, an object can take multiple forms. So means polymorphism has two types: static and dynamic polymorphism.
And what are these static and dynamic polymorphism?
So in static polymorphism is achieved through method overloading. In this, we have a function or method with same name, but the type of arguments or the number of arguments may be different. In dynamic polymorphism is achieved through method overriding, in which a reference can be used to point to multiple objects. Suppose we have animal object reference, then it can be used to point to either a animal object or a specialization of animal object, which will be a dog. So it is determined at compile time which object it is pointing to.
At compile time or at runtime?
Dynamic at runtime. So
Overloading is at compile time. This is at runtime. Nice
Runtime,
examples.
yes.
I appreciate that. Agree. Now, how in Java do you implement abstraction? Through what concept do you implement? Can you implement abstraction in Java?
Abstraction. Basically, there are two ways to achieve abstraction. One is using abstract class, or another is through interface.
Nice.
So basically, abstract class is used to achieve like between 0 to 100% abstraction, and interface allows us to achieve 100% abstraction.
Have you ever worked with Java 8? Do you know Java 8?
So means not specifically Java, but I have worked with like 17 and 18 or 19 and stuff.
So you must know that interface now contains static and default both methods.
Yes.
So now abstraction is not 100%. Because if I define...
Yes, got it.
That's fine. That difference is no more existing. That was before Java 8. but
Yeah.
now that different doesn't hold true anymore. No worries, rest all is perfect. Okay. Now, how do you implement encapsulation? You already told me we have a class which is actually an encapsulation. Good example in Java. It encapsulate
Yes.
both. Nice. Next, you said there is polymorphism. How do we implement polymorphism? That is overloading, overriding concepts in Java.
Yes.
And the fourth one was?
Inheritance.
And how do we implement inheritance in Java?
So basically, we create a subclass which extends the base class. So
So
using
extends
extend.
keyword. Nice. Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, understood. Now you told me something about that in encapsulations, the class is the one who encapsulates methods and variables,
Yes.
right? So how many types of variables are there in Java?
Uh, there are basically three types of variable: local variable, global variable, and static variables.
Okay.
So would you like me to explain that? Yeah. So local variables are basically method level variables which we declare inside a method, which are not accessible outside the method. The class level variables are defined inside the class are un- but outside the method. Means
Okay.
we can access them inside a method too, and they are not defined as static. So and static variables are those which we define inside a class, but they can be accessed without creating an object of class.
Nice. Understood. So I'll quickly transition once for these understanding these objects. So suppose I have a class animal, as your example goes. We have a private int legs, so it can go as 4, or we have private int eyes, it can go as 2.
Yes.
Now I have a method, say public void walk. So this method is going to use the legs for walking, right? Now in
Yes.
this walk method, if I give an argument, say int legs,
Okay.
this legs will be of what type? And this legs is of what type?
So the legs given in the argument will be of local, means local
Nice.
variable,
Okay.
and the legs defined in means private int legs will be a global variable.
Nice. Or instance variable. Perfect.
Yes.
Sounds great. So anything which is encapsulated in the method level, it becomes the local variable. So as
Local
soon
variable.
as your method ends, this will be garbage collected, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, what are the solid principles? Do you have any clue on what solid principles are all about?
So means basically for developers to write clean code, they define like some principles, 5 principles basically under the acronym SOLID. So basically they go as single responsibility principle. O stands for open close principle. L stands for Litkov substitution principle. I stands for interface segregation principle, and D stands for dependency inversion principle.
Can you explain about them if possible?
Means I have knowledge about the first two, so I can explain about them.
No problem. That's
So,
fine.
so single responsibility principle states that a class should have only one reason to change. So basically, if we have a student class and there are three methods like add student, calculate marks, and mark student as present. So basically, here we are means we are giving this class responsibility of adding student, calculating marks, and marking the attendance at inside one class only. So this violates the single responsibility principle. So to overcome this, we can have three separate class, and we can divide the methods into them. So this is single responsibility principle. And open close principle basically suggests that a class should be uh, a class should be open to extension but closed to modification. So, suppose we have like a payment system which supports credit card payments. Now we want to add like UPI payments to it. So, if we try to change the implementation of class like by adding another method, then it would be the violation of open close principle. So instead we can create a new class that will extend this class, and we can write another method like what's what, UPI payments, and we can implement the functionality inside.
Perfect. Sounds great. These two are perfectly done. So Liskov is a difficult one, I understand.
Yeah.
Anything about interface segregation?
So interface segregation basically states that instead of putting everything inside one interface and making it big, we can divide the big interface into smaller ones based on their purpose. So
Perfect.
if we required certain uh, if we needed something, we don't have to implement the rest of the methods too, like that.
Nice.
Rest of the interface.
Yes. So rather than creating 10 number of methods in one interface and expecting all the implementing classes to like straightforward implement these 10 methods, it's a bad thing to do. Rather you can divide it
Yes.
into as much as possible, keep it modular so that the implementing classes does not have attention to implement all of the unimplemented methods.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, this is very true. And what is this D?
Dependency inversion, and basically if we have a class which is dependent on another class, instead of depending directly on that class, we can have an interface of the classes and make the depending class depend on that interface rather than those classes.
Okay, I'll give you a quick good example for this. In Spring, we have a Spring container. So they do the dependency inversion for us. What in Java we used to do whenever we need an animal class, what we do, animal A equals to new animal,
Yes, yes.
right? And if animal depends upon some another class, say for example, animal might depend on a food class. So
Okay.
for the food class, how will we instantiate that? So in the animal class, we will in the constructor we do food f equals to new food.
Yes,
Now, if
yes.
animal object is garbage collector, our food is also gone, which should not be the
So,
case, right?
yeah.
So this is how we invert the dependency. We say that create a bean for animal differently, create a bean for food differently. Whenever as an animal I would need a food dependency, just inject a bean into my class. And that will be done by
Okay.
Spring container to you. That is how you invert the dependency of creating an object by the programmer to the
To
Spring
the
container.
Yes, yes, got it.
Okay, next, do you know any design principles or design patterns?
Design patterns, basically I know some of the creational ones, like factory design pattern, singleton and means builder,
Okay.
basically.
A brief, can you do a brief about all the three if possible?
So in a factory design pattern, we means we define classes, like suppose we have a pizza, like a menu item, a menu class, and we have one for pizza, burger, and for cold drinks. So we define the implementation of these in separate classes, and all the classes will be inherited by this menu class, and based on the user request, we will create an object of that class and return it to the calling class.
So you will create a class for the menu or you will create an interface for the menu? Or you can create both.
we can have like in uh, we can have both, I think.
You can have both. Anyways, we're extending it. So if
Yes.
you want anything, you can even have a abstract one implementing it. No problem. Okay.
Yes.
For the next one, singleton.
Singleton, yes. In singleton design pattern, the idea is that only one instance of the class should be available throughout the program. So means if we try to create more than one instance, basically it should return the instance which was earlier created.
Nice. And in Java, how do you create? Do you know how we can create a singleton class?
Yes, basically, first step is to make the constructor private so
Nice.
that nobody can create it using the new keyword.
Okay.
Second, we have to define a private variable of type of the class type and make it point to null. And we have to expose a method to get the object. Suppose get object. Then we check if the private variable which we have defined is pointing to an object or not. If it is pointing, then we return the object itself. Otherwise, we create the new object and then return the object.
Nice. I'll quickly transition and write a pseudocode for this so that it is much more clearer. So suppose I have a class called singleton.
Yes.
So you said we should have a private
Constructor.
singleton type of
Default constructor.
First we should have an instance pointing to null, right?
Yes.
Then we should have a private constructor, right? We are creating a constructor as private, as you said, because so that nobody can create an object of this, because the object will be created only and only by this class.
Yes.
Okay, understood. So private constructor, and what it will do, it will check, right? It will check if instance is null.
Yeah, yeah, we can have that. No, but we can't call that constructor. So we have to define like another method, like public method,
Yes.
so that we could.
Nice. This is something which, this is how they will trick you around. Nice. So we will have a public method which will be available to all the users, and it will return you a singleton object, and the object will be get instance.
Yes.
This will be a method which will have a get instance, and it is going to check, right, if
Yes.
instance
If is null, means is
okay.
equal to.
Yes. So I'll write double equal to, right?
Yes.
Okay. If it is null, then
We will
what should I
create
do?
a.
New instance.
Yes.
Okay. Like this.
Yes.
Okay. Now my question is: this is also singleton instance. Is this allowed? And you said we should return singleton, return instance, right?
Yes.
So is this allowed? We already have a singleton instance is null, but we are checking if it is null. We are creating instance as new instance. Is this allowed?
Means we are redeclaring an instance, so it becomes like a local variable.
Yes, that is why it is allowed, because the scope of this instance variable is only in this method. So it becomes a local variable, and then we return that instance. Nice. This sounds perfect to me.
We can have like means we can use the this keyword to reference that instance and to change it. And apart from, if we can't create an object, we can have that method like static, so it can be called anywhere. So that is also, that will also work.
Yes, we forgot that point, to have that as static, because we cannot create an object of it. Its constructor is private. Yes,
Yes.
that's a good point. We have to create it as static. Okay. That's how you create a singleton class in Java, right?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. There was third pattern. One more pattern.
Builder design pattern. So basically in builder design pattern, we have a class defining the parameter. Suppose we have a car class and it defines like the tires and engine and all. And then inside that we have an inner class. So that inner class basically is used to build the car. So
Okay.
now, if we want to create a new car, then we would call the build car class inside the car class.
So basically, it's going to build one.
Yes,
Understood.
yes.
Okay. And okay, I think that is, I'm good with the design patterns. I'll move ahead. Can you tell me how many modifiers, access modifiers are there in Java?
So there are four types of access modifiers: public, private, protected, and default. So a public access modifier is accessible anywhere. It has the widest scope.
Okay.
The private access modifier is accessible only within the class, and the protected access modifier is accessible within the package and outside the package through inheritance only.
Subclasses
And
basically.
yes.
Okay. Nice.
And the if we don't specify any access modifier, then it is treated as default, and the default access modifier is accessible only within the package.
And not even the subclasses, right?
No.
Nice. Now I have a question over this. You said that default access modifier is the one who will be accessible only in the package, and for that you do not define any keyword. Like for example,
Yes.
I'll transition quickly. Sorry. So suppose I have a method, and my method say public void my method. So visibility of this method will be public. It will be everywhere,
Yes.
right? Now if I make it as private, only within the class you can access the my method, and if you try
Yes.
to call anywhere else, you will get a compilation error that this method is private, you cannot access this method,
Yes.
right? For protected, you have a keyword like this.
Yes.
So this and only subclasses of the class in like who is having this method can be able to access this method, right?
Yes.
For default, should I have default here?
No, means if we don't specify anything, it is default. It is default, means default is not used as a keyword there.
Okay, understood. Nice, correct. So where is this default keyword used in Java?
In switch case,
Okay.
if none of the cases is executed, then we use the default keyword to specify that this code should be the code within the default should be executed if none of the cases in switch case are matched.
Okay. Any other place have you encountered this default keyword used in Java?
There are also default methods. So inside an interface, we can define like default method, and when this method would be accessible to the implementing class, the class implementing the interface. So that is one case where default is used.
But very common one is the switch case. I can agree to that.
Yes.
Okay, nice. Okay, now I'll quickly have one more question on your inheritance that you have shown me, right? So you have a class animal, and this class is inherited by class dog, right?
Yes.
Dog extends
And
animal. So this is a relationship, right?
yes.
Okay. Now, if I have this as an interface, okay, will that still work?
No, the extent we need to use the implements keyword.
Okay, because a class can always implement an interface and
an
not
interface.
extend it because there is no.
Yes.
Okay, nice. ठीक है. Now, if I again make it to class and we have a dog extending an animal class, right?
Yes.
Now, if I have another class named as mammal, now my dog is also an animal, is also a mammal. So can I extend animal comma mammal because it is both?
Yes, we can do that.
We can extend both.
Yes.
Okay. Now if my class animal has a method public void legs and it returns me 4 legs,
Yes.
or no, I'll have public void type and it returns me the type as animal. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
and this mammal is having a type and it is going to return me mammals. Okay,
Yes.
so this is a class. I'll quickly reduce the size. So this is an animal class. It is having a void method type. This is a mammal class. It is having a method type which is going to return you mammal. Now this dog extends both animal and mammal. So it will inherit these methods also, type methods, right?
Yes. Yes.
So whose return type should dog class be considering? Will dog say I'm an animal or dog will say I'm a mammal?
So, basically, this is not allowed. It is like multiple inheritance. So,
Nice. This is not allowed
means
in Java because it's a multiple
multiple.
inheritance. Nice.
Yes.
But now how? So if this is not allowed, how can we implement multiple inheritance in Java then?
So we can use interface. So
Okay.
basically, interface just defines the method and does not provide any implementation. So basically, the implementing class will need to implement the interface.
Okay, understood. So this mammal and animal will go. These will be the abstract methods. And now when you implement it, it will say, when it implements animal and mammal, it will say I have type but I do not have any definition. So since you do
Yes.
not define any type, I will define my type as dog. Perfect. Sounds perfect to me. So this is how a diamond problem is fixed in Java. So what is a diamond problem? Can you explain a bit in that?
Basically, when we are inheriting from two different classes, the compiler becomes ambiguous. And if they have like same method, the compiler become ambiguous as to which class method it needs to call. So this is referred to as diamond problem.
Nice. Now since you have not worked enough into Java 8, if nowadays in interface we have the default methods also.
Default methods. Yes.
So these methods still have the implementation. Now how do the Java people fix this issue? Because now they can have default implementation and still now they can return you animal and mammal.
Yes.
So any clue how do they fix it?
So we can have a default method with means like a print statement like this is an animal and this is an mammal, and when we are implementing that, we can specify like animal dot that method name and mammal dot that method name.
Perfect. This is how in Java. So you already know Java 8, man. Nice. Yes, this is how diamond problem is solved with Java 8. Nice. I'll transition back. Okay. So far so good, man. Now how do you do exception handling in Java?
So exception handling is done using a try catch finally block.
Okay.
So the statements which result in an exception are enclosed inside the try block, and if there is an exception, the catch block catches that exception, and we define what needs to be done. And a final block is executed all the time. Means whenever we want to do something like cleanup task and all, the final is always executed.
Nice. So you told me that to throw, we have a throw keyword. To
Yes.
denote that we are throwing something, we have throws keyword.
Yes.
You didn't tell me that.
No.
Okay. For catching, you have the catch block, and for cleanup and everything, you have a final block. Now, what is throws
Yes.
keyword?
Throws, basically, throws is used with like a class. So no, it is used with methods.
Nice.
We just denote that this kind of exception might occur, and you need to handle that.
Nice.
And using throw keyword, we are basically throwing the exception. Like this exception is thrown, then the catch block is handling that exception.
Nice. I agree. Okay. Now my question is that how is exception propagated? So suppose I throw it, I don't catch it. Then what will happen?
You means I didn't get the question.
So suppose I have an animal class. It is
Yes.
extended by a dog class.
Yes.
Now animal has a method, number of legs, say. Now dog is
Yes.
extending it. Dog is also having a number of legs as a method.
Yes.
Now suppose this the animal method suppose calls any of the method of dog.
Yes.
If they do not handle, the dog does not handle any of the exception, then how is exception handled, and who will handle the exception?
So dog doesn't handle, then it comes to the base class, like the class which is calling that
Parent
must
class.
handle that.
Nice. A parent class should handle the child class errors and
Exception.
exceptions. And now if parent also doesn't do that, then what will happen?
So parent of all is like, so means parent of all classes, I think, means I don't know which object, I think
That's
object.
object class. So what
Yes.
object class do is, since you do not handle my exception, let JVM handle it. And what JVM does is, they print the error in the console logs. That's it.
Okay.
And
got
they
it.
terminate. Since you have not handled it, they catch it and they terminate your code.
Got it.
So JVM handles your unhandled exceptions in Java.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, do you have any clue about how we can serialize, deserialize, and why do we need the serialization in Java?
So means basically objects are platform dependent and bytecode is platform independent. So if we need to transfer object between two machines, or like if there are database calls and all, so we need to transfer it as a byte or a byte stream. So serialization does the means conversion of object into byte stream and its reconstruction.
Nice. So what reconstruction becomes the deserialization part, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Deserialization.
Nice. So now suppose during the serialization, I do not want all my 5 attributes to be serialized into the. So suppose I can have my passwords. I do not want my password to be serialized and saved in a file. So how can I prevent that serialization of that attribute or variable?
So you can mark it transient.
Nice. Perfect. And then it will be ignored during the serialization process.
Serialization.
And during deserialization, it will be null.
Yes.
Because it was not stored. So when you reconstruct it, there will be nothing.
Yes.
Okay. This is perfect. Now, what is externalization? Any clue?
Externalization. No, ma'am. No.
No worries. So I'll tell you quickly that serialization is something which is something which is given by Java to us. So it's not customizable. I do not have how they internally convert, what they do. So nothing is in my hand. So externalization is customized serialization in Java.
Okay.
That's high level. It's okay. It's not expected that you would tell me everything. No worries. Okay. Now I have a question on strings. So I'll quickly transit back and share my screen. Now suppose I'll do the canvas. Okay. So do you know how many type of memories we have in Java?
Uh, I know about two types, stack and heap.
Nice. So suppose I'll go for both here. Now suppose I do as, first I'll create an animal class. Okay. Animal class object A equals to new animal. Now what will be stored in heap and what will be stored in queue? In the heap. What will be stored in stack and what will be stored in the heap? So this is my heap area. And this is, suppose, a cylinder. This is my stack. So what will be stored in stack? What will be stored in heap?
So basically, first we need to calculate the size that the animal class required, which would be calculated based on the variables the class has, and depending upon that, space for that class will be allocated in the heap. So basically, we store the actual object in the heap and the reference of that object, suppose A, in the stack.
Nice. So this object new animal
Yes.
will be in the heap. Agree.
Heap.
And here A will be there and it will be pointing to animal, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Fine. So the reference variable will be in the stack and the memory will be created in the heap. Now
Yes.
if I suppose create string s equals to new string and I create string s2 equals to hello, and while creating a string I pass it as hello again. And I'll mark it as S1 and S2. So where S1 and S2 will reside?
Here means I'm not sure, but there is a concept called like a string pool. So
Nice.
basically, when we create it using new keyword, it is assigned space inside the string pool. So here we have hello. So when we create it using new keyword, it is stored in the string pool, and in second string we are using, means we are creating the same string, but it will just make s2 point to where s1 is pointing.
Okay. Now I have a question on this. So you said this hello will be created here just like the new animal. Hello will be created, right?
Yes.
Okay. Agree to that. So hello will be here. And it will be pointed by
S1.
Nice. Okay. This is perfectly fine to me. Okay. But there will be a S2 created with a initialization with double quotes. So basically this is the string initialization in a string constant pool. So another object hello will be created in string constant pool.
Okay.
Okay. And this hello is, so S2 still will remain here, but this S2 will point to this string constant pool now.
Got it.
Understood?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So this is how the string constant pool works. That is a part of heap and it has a separate space in the heap. And whenever you have the reference variable created, always the reference variable will always be in stack. But if you create it with the new keyword, it will be in heap. If you create it like this, direct initialization with double quotes, it will be created in string constant pool. Now if I print string s3 equals to hello. So where do you think S3 will be there, and where will this hello be created?
So S3 will be again in the stack, but
Okay.
it will point same to what S2 is pointing to.
Nice. Perfect. Yes, that is true. So S2 and S3 both will point to this hello,
Hello.
this here.
Yeah.
Now, a simple Java question. If S2 equal to S3, should it return me true or false?
S2 equal to. Basically, the double equal to operator compares reference.
Nice.
So since both are pointing to same reference, it will return true.
Perfect. Perfect. If I put dot equals to, then so S2 dot equals S3. Then
The equals method is used for content comparison. So it
nice.
will return true again, same.
Perfect. Nice. Now if I have say S1 dot equals S2, what will happen now?
So it here it true again true. So
Perfect.
as all
Why?
are same. Because hello is same in all strings.
Because the content is same. Perfect.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Now if I try S1 double equals to S2, it will compare.
Yes. Means no, because S1's reference is in that heap memory and S2 is in string content.
Yes, very true. So since S1 is pointing to heap and S2 is pointing to string constant pool, these are visibly two different memory locations in Java. So here we will get false now.
False.
Now what is garbage collection in Java, and which memory is actually garbage collected in Java?
So garbage collection is the process of looking at the heap memory. So basically, it is done for heap memory only, and means checking if the objects are not reference. Only that reference means if an object is not reference, then it is eligible for garbage collection, and the JVM frees its memory allocated to that object.
Okay, so we were having a word on the garbage collection. You said that whenever the object is not anymore required, it will be quickly garbage collected.
Yes.
Agree on that. Now, suppose I am out of my memory and garbage collection process does not initiate and or it does not have any object to get over any memory. So what exception does usually Java throw us in that case?
Out of memory error.
Yes, out of memory exception. And that is not handleable. That is an error,
Yes.
proper error.
Error.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now coming to a very basic level, a main method. So can you explain the main method? I'll transition back and write down the main method for you.
Okay.
So suppose I have public static void main, and we have here string args array, and then I have stuff written here. So I would like you to explain all the meaning of these keywords and why they are necessary and what happens if I change them.
So basically, main method. Basically, when we run a Java program, what the compiler first looks for the main method. It is like the entry point through which the execution of program starts. So
Okay.
in this, the access modifiers like public means that it is accessible anywhere. Then static means that this method can be called without creating an object of the class in which it is present. Void means it does not return, this method does not return anything, and main is the name of the method.
Okay. What are
And
these?
string arguments are basically optional arguments that you can pass during running the Java class file.
Okay, perfect. Now, why is this void? Why do we have the main method as void? Can we return anything? Can I write it here as int?
We can write it, but it would be treated like a different method.
Normal method.
Yes.
Understood. So the JVM says, okay, I am. So who calls this main method? JVM calls this main method because
Yes.
it wants to trigger the instantiation of this class.
Yes.
And it starts the execution of this method. So it will call this main method. So the parent is JVM. So what will
Yes.
you do returning anything to JVM? What will JVM do with your return type? I mean, the task of
Yes.
JVM is to run your method. So what will you do returning to him? So it says return only void. I don't need any of your return type. If I don't make it static, you have to create an object, and JVM cannot create the object of your user defined classes. So that is why static is very important. If it is not public and we make it as private, then JVM will not be able to search this method in your class because you have created a class. And that class is a black box for JVM if you make it as private. That's the reason they keep it as nice, perfect. Now, if I don't make it as static, then what will happen? Again, it will be treated as the normal method, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we overload this method like this?
Overload.
So you already told me that overloading is when you change the number of arguments, the type of arguments, or the order of arguments. So if I give string s2 here, which method will be called by JVM after overloading?
So JVM looks for the first method only.
Perfect. Sounds great. Yes. Now, okay. Now I would like you to ask, I would like you to make me understand what is the final keyword.
So if we want something to make immutable, we use the final keyword.
Nice.
So it can be used with variables, methods, or class.
Perfect.
If we use with variables, when we assign the variable cannot be reassigned a value. If it is used with a method, then the method cannot be overridden, and if it used with a class, the class cannot be extended
or inherited. Perfect. Yes. But if I make a variable as final, so okay, so if I have a class final demo.
Ma'am, the screen is not visible.
Oh, I forgot transition. Thank you. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is.
Thank you. If a class I have as final demo. Now, in this class, you said that we can create a variable int final legs.
Yes.
And if I try to use this legs in my public method, will it be allowed? Any public method, say enable legs. So will my compiler be allowing me to use this legs variable if it is final and which is not initialized?
Means we need to initialize it first, so before using.
Okay, so where all can we initialize this variable?
So we can directly initialize here with a default value or using a constructor.
Nice. So these can be initialized in two possible ways. The final keyword, they will tell you, okay, you initialize it here only. And if you forgot to do that, you have to initialize as soon as you define a constructor. So if in both the ways you do not have this legs defined, then you will get a compile time error that the final variable is not initialized.
Yes.
Awesome. Sounds great. So you told me something about finally. You told me something about final. Now can you tell me something about what is the difference between final, finally and finalize keywords?
Basically means first one is all or not means keywords. Final is a keyword. Finally is a block and finalize is a method. So
Nice.
final is used in like to means what I have explained earlier with methods, class, and variables. The finally block is used in exception handling when we want to do cleanup task and all. And finalize method is used uh, during garbage collection, means basically before collecting the object, the cleanup task or suppose a file pointer closing and all we need to do, that is done in the finalize method.
Okay, and that finalized block will be called by whom?
JVM.
Or the garbage collector?
uh, Garbage collector basically, yes.
So just before your object is garbage collected, this method is called to do the cleanup, in saying that this method is going to be garbage collected. Do you want any resource to be freed up before the garbage collection process of this? Nice. Okay,
Yes.
understood.
Yes.
Will this so suppose I have some very important tasks to be done in this finalize method. Will this always be called? I'm very sure that it will always be called.
No, means basically it would be called. I don't have any idea about that.
So okay, I'll ask in this way. Will garbage collector always calls the finalize method before garbage collecting?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yes, it will call. But there is a way to explicitly call the garbage collector in Java. If I explicitly call a garbage collector, will garbage collector always be cleaning up my memory whenever I call him?
It should basically it should.
Actually, garbage collection is a daemon process. It is usually running in the background and it will run on its own. If you try to make it as a foreground and by calling it by yourself, it may or might not be called always.
Okay.
So, yeah, this was a deep concept in garbage collection. That's okay. But if you explicitly call a garbage collector, it will not always be a surety that it will be called.
Okay.
No
Right.
worries. Rest all is fine. You also told me when we were discussing about the singleton classes that you can use this keyword. So can you tell me the difference between this keyword and the super keyword, and when can we use them?
So this keyword is used to refer current. So I will start. This keyword is a reference to the current class, and super keyword is a reference to the parent class.
Nice. Okay.
And means if we have like a local variable with the same name as that of a class variable, we would use this keyword to for scope resolution. Basically means which variable we are referring to. So if you use this dot legs, then it would be an reference to a global variable rather than a local.
Understood. So you have private in lags. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
And I have a constructor of. So I have a public class animal. I have a variable legs, and I have a constructor public animals, and it is also taking int legs. So you are perfectly right that how will you resolve that my legs instance variable is equals to legs variable local variable. So point this to my current class object. I will put this here, right?
Yes.
Oh, nice, awesome. So this is going to point to the current class object, and this is going to be the local one.
Local.
Perfect. Now if I have a dog class and I have int legs there also, and I have say a constructor and here I want to print this dog extends animal.
Yes.
Now I want to print my animal's leg. How can I do that?
Uh, Animal's leg when super dot legs.
Perfect. So this super dot legs will actually point to this legs and not
Yes.
the instance variable of dog.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. That sounds perfect to me. So we are good with this also.
Yeah.
Okay. Any difference between constructor and method? Do you know what is the difference between constructor and method in Java?
Yes. Constructor name and class name must be same. Constructor does not have a return type, not even void. Constructor is defined in the public section of class.
Can constructor not be a private one?
In case of like singleton and all, we can have, but if we want to create an object, then we have to make it public.
Perfect. Okay. So yes, a constructor and method both can be public and private. So
Public,
first two holds,
yes.
right? The third one is bit doubtful.
Ambiguous, yes.
Okay. Fine. And now last question from my end now. What is
Yes.
the difference between pass by value and pass by reference, and what is Java? A pass by value or a pass by reference? Now this is a difficult question to ask, so it's good to have. If you can answer, it's great.
So means in pass by value, we are actually making a copy of the value we are passing. Basically, if we have int a and int b, we are if a has 7 and b has like 8, we are making a copy of a and b and passing that copy in pass by value. But in pass by reference, we are passing the memory location where the variable stores the value.
So basically,
And
pass the reference of that object.
yes. And if any modifications are done in pass by value, they are not reflected when the method gets over. But if any modifications are made using the pass by reference variable, the changes are visible.
Perfect. And what is Java? Pass by value or pass by reference?
Java is a pass by value.
Okay, so a quick question, sorry. On this, if it is pass by value, now suppose, let me frame it. This is a difficult one. I have a public void m1. I have another, I have another method, public void m2. Int a, no, not int. Say I take my animal class object only, animal a, comma dog d. Now I put a dot legs equals to 6.
Yes.
And in m1 I call m2 and pass. I'll have these two objects created. I have a logic here. Create dog and animal objects. Okay? Like
Yes.
D and O. In this, I'm passing A and D. A for animal and D for dog. So I'm passing M to A, comma D. Now if I try to print A dot legs, what will be the output? Because you said it is pass by value.
So it ideally should be 0.
Okay.
Means I think it is passed by reference. I'm not sure.
No, you are right. It is passed by value. But Java in the value passes the reference. This tech reference is
Okay.
what is passed by the Java. So whatever modifications you do here is reflected in the parent because you by default in the value passed the reference.
Okay.
So this
Got
was
it.
the trickiest question that could have been asked on Java. That is Java passed by value and passed by reference. So yes, Java is passed by value, but in the value it passes the reference, and hence it looks like it is passed by reference, but it is passed by value. But
Got it.
still
Got it.
very much there are multiple blogs, multiple things out there who says it is passed by value or passed by reference. There's still no clear distinction on this question. So asking it
Okay.
from a fresher is not a good thing, but I did because you were answering all.
Thank you.
So that's all from my end. Yash, any questions for me?
Uh, Means what did you think about where I can improve?
I'll transition back and I'll show what all questions I have asked and where you can be better. So these were the questions I have asked. Now I'll quickly go for my document part. So you were good with this, you were good with this. In the solid principles, you can have this L in the bold. You can unlearn a bit because you were good with all the 4 principles. One principle was left, and yes, that was tougher one. So this is where one thing I can point. There are very less thing I can point about, truly speaking. Also, public class versus interface, I didn't ask because you didn't work much with the Java 8. If it is good to see, because before Java 8, there was clear distinction in the abstract class and interface. Now, there is a very blurry distinction between both of them. Also, for the
Yes.
diamond problem, initially just by looking at code, you were confused that yes, we can do that because it seems like you have implemented 2 interfaces, but I have actually extended 2 classes. So,
Oh,
but then all the answers that you gave were perfectly fine. So, you know what diamond problem is, and even in Java 8, how you can solve it, you know that also. But just by looking in the code, it was a bit confusing for you.
yes.
This was perfect, this was perfect. If in case you have interest in serialization, deserialization, externalization will be good to explore. But
Yes.
for the
I will do.
fresher level, it's not a fair enough thing to ask. So sorry for that. But since you were answering all, so I thought of asking this also. JIT, you have perfectly answered. JIT is exactly what you have answered. So nothing to work upon that. This is also perfect. Garbage collection is also perfect. If you get a time, you can always have a look on. There were some principles on which the garbage collection works. Like there's an age. They say that they have short-lived objects. So they work on some principles, but that is very deep level. So for the fresher level, I think you're perfect with this. There is not
Okay.
much to be brushed upon. This was good. Overloading, overriding, you were good. Main methods were good. Finally, finalize, you were good. Super in this keyword, good. JVM, JDK is perfect. Constructor and method were perfect. This was good to have, and you were almost there. So you actually made me understand what is pass by value. You made me understand what is pass by reference. But Java is a confusion. Java there is a confusion. It is pass by value, pass by reference. Yes. So yes, these were the things. I do not have much feedback. You were perfect with these core Java concepts. I don't have much to share, truly speaking.
Yes.
So this was the feedback, and you were really well prepared on this. A bit more of Spring and some framework will add more value to your resume. So
Yes, ma'am. I will work on that.
that will be great. Any questions from me? How was the interview? Did you find it high level, very tedious, tricky? How was that?
Uh, Means some parts were tricky, but mostly it was like
Doable.
good. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for the feedback. All the very best for your interviews. We wish you all the best, and communities will always be thankful for you for sharing your knowledge to us. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
from the
ma'am.
community side too. Thank you so much for connecting, Yash. Have a nice day. Bye bye.